Welcome everyone to this week's Start of the Week interview. I'm here with Hande. I'm from. Maybe you don't recognize me as an avatar, but today this is what I look like. This is my colleague and also very good friend Hande. And this
Hello,
week
everyone.
you'll be watching Hande's lecture videos about experiments this week. Yes, lovely lecture videos. We're here in virtual reality actually today. So this is actually an MCRS meeting room. You don't know this yet, but I'll provide you with instructions so you can come here as well and hang out and meet your friends in virtual reality. It's a beautiful room with perfect view. It has an upstairs as well. So I hope you'll have a great time here. Now I want to talk to Hande about experiments. Maybe, Hande, first you could introduce yourself to the MCRS students.
Hello, everyone. This is Hande. I'm a lecturer in the Youth and Media Entertainment Group. And today, as Pam said, we are greeting you from, virtual reality. I'm actually in my living room right now in Utrecht, and Pam is in Amsterdam. And so today, not today, but this week, you will be listening to my video about experiments. And I'm here today with Pam to give you a little bit of insights into what you will be listening and also talk a little bit about my studies that I conduct in virtual reality.
Great, thanks, Hande. The last part, that's what I'm really interested in, and I think students as well. But before we go there, can you maybe tell us something about your background in experimentation, like what kind of studies that you run, and why do you think experiments are really cool designs or good designs to use?
Yes, that's a very good question. Of course, you all hear about experiments a lot, and there are reasons why we choose to do experiments instead of other methodologies that you learned so far about, like surveys, and you will learn about content analysis. So why do we choose experiments instead of a survey or a content analysis? So firstly, to begin with, of course, a content analysis is a studying about content. So you are interested in whether, let's say, certain newspapers, how do they cover, let's give an example, for instance, how do certain newspapers cover the presidential election in the US? Then you are really interested in the content of the newspapers. But for experiments, also similar to surveys, we are interested in people's, let's say, opinions or attitudes. Our subjects are people. That's why surveys and experiments differ from content analysis. So coming to the difference between surveys and experiments, this is probably the key thing that you need to remember. Is one word, and it is causality. So in order to make sure we have a cause and an effect, we need an experiment. Because experiments give us the chance to really control our environment, so that we can keep everything constant between our experimental and control groups. And we know that the only difference between these two groups is the thing that we manipulate, which is our independent variable. So with surveys, we don't have control. We just ask people, for instance, their attitudes about again, going back to the same example about, for instance, how do newspapers cover this presidential election? How do they find it? Do they find it fair? Do they find it credible? Then you can ask people. But if you're interested in, for instance, how does images affect perceptions of credibility in newspapers, then you can do this with an experiment. So you could then, in one condition, have a news with a image versus in the other condition, a news with no image. Then you can compare these two groups and see how does adding this image influence people's credibility perceptions, for instance.
Yeah. Actually, guys, you know about this already, right? Hande is talking now about cause and effect. And this is something you learned in the first part of the course when we talked about internal validity. You already know about cause and effect, and now you're going to learn what type of design you actually need to use if you really want to determine cause and effect. So that's great. So Hande, in the beginning, you said something about virtual reality experiments, and yeah, well, we are in a virtual world right now. I mean, it's prettier than my living room, I have to say, especially the view. I love it. I love seeing you here, since you know you're in Utrecht and I'm in Amsterdam. It's a great way to see you. Um, so Hande, in the beginning, you said something about experiments in virtual reality and how you're working in that field. Can you tell us something about that?
Yes, sure. So, in one of our studies that I conducted with my colleagues, we tested whether a concept called social presence, whether this works also in virtual reality. So we know that in real life, when we are accompanied by other people, this can enhance our experiences. So if I'm watching a movie together with someone, this can make it more enjoyable for me. So we wanted to see whether this works in virtual reality as well. For this study, we did a virtual movie study where our participants, half of them, we sent them to a virtual theater where they watched movies alone by themselves. And for the other half, we included other participants who joined the study and interacted with our participants in the social theater, in the online theater. And we wanted to see whether their enjoyment of the movie changed based on whether there was someone with them or not. And in our preliminary analysis, we found that when there are people, this can influence the feelings of social presence, and then this can also enhance how enjoyable they find the experience.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, sorry, carry on.
Yeah, so in the beginning, in introduction day, I told students I was going to do something in virtual reality. Well, we're doing something in virtual reality today, but I would also like students to experience a lecture like they would normally experience it on campus, with the presence of other students. So based on the preliminary results from your study, we could maybe carefully conclude that if I would host a lecture here in virtual reality with other students present, they might enjoy it more than watching the videos online.
Yes, certainly. I think we can say that even if it's people are not physically together, virtual reality is known for creating a lot of special presence, so the feeling of being there, because it's a very immersive environment. Then we can totally expect that if students join a VR-based lecture, they will actually feel that they are there, and then they will also feel social presence because they have their friends there and they can interact with them there. So I think this can be a nice way of trying a new lecture in these times of COVID.
Cool. Okay, guys, so no promises. I'm looking into all of this. It's definitely quite challenging as well. But we're going to try and set this up for you so that in smaller groups, you can actually be present in like a Q&A session or something with me in an actual lecture hall. Hey, that would be so cool. I think that would be really fun. See how they likes it. And actually, what you're saying about social presence right now is, I mean, you are in Utrecht, I'm in Amsterdam. We can't go into the office. Basically, we only see each other now via a video call and not in the real world. And I have to say, even though in real life you look a bit different, but it's like you're here with me right now, and yes, it's awesome to have this experience. Yes, it's amazing. Yeah, we can dance together. Let's be professional for the students.
Yes.
Could you? You're running other experiments as well right now in virtual reality, right?
Yes, correct. I have another line of studies that I focus on virtual reality and more promotion of promoting environmental behaviors. So we know that virtual reality is really strong in creating empathy. because you can really feel like you are in a certain space. And so we are using that to promote certain behaviors that normally feel distant from us, such as creating awareness for climate change and or other topics such as a refugee crisis that normally are kind of distant from our reality. But once in virtual reality, we can bring them closer to us. And when they are closer to us, we have more empathy, and then we can really understand these issues better. And in one of my studies now, I can talk a bit more about the design. I don't want to give too much away because maybe you will be one of our participants. But so we can...
You mean the students, right? The students
yes,
could be part of your experiment. Yeah, cool.
Yes, exactly. But I can talk about one of my bachelor students' thesis because probably you will not participate in that one. But we are in that one looking at the effect of interactivity. So in one condition, they can be in virtual reality and really interact with their environment. And in the other condition, they can watch something in 360 video, but then they have less interaction ability. So then you are comparing the effect of interactivity in how much they remember from what they watched and how much they enjoy what they watched, and whether their attitudes are more likely to be influenced by it based on interactivity. So just to say that at the moment I have several students, both bachelor thesis students and master thesis students that are carrying really nice studies with me for their theses. So maybe in the coming couple of years, you will remember this video and you may want to seek me out. And if you want to do a study in virtual reality, you can find me.
Cool. Well, guys, that sounds awesome. So, Hande Sungur, remember that name and find her when you're looking for a very interesting thesis topic. Hande, this is amazing. Thank you for introducing this week's topic for the methods part. Of course, guys, there's also statistics. This is really cool. I love meeting you here in this space, and well, I might stay a bit longer to enjoy the view because it's windy and raining outside. So this is actually better staying right here. Maybe after this interview we can chat a little bit. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this interview, and good luck this week with the home learning and with the weekly tests. And I'll see you next week for the next interview with Dr. Jara Bouwmans about content analysis. Thank you. And
bye-bye.
Thank you, Hande. Can we also high five now? Do that?
Right.
Yay. Yay. Thanks so much, Hande. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
You're welcome. Good luck. Bye-bye.